You have found your way down to the Matcave, and tonight we are taking a peek behind the scenes, guys. We are pulling the curtain back, and we're going to take a look at all of the things I have going on here and what makes Matcave Gaming tick. And right here, we got a member for 4 months now. Donna, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. That alert came up pretty much right away, which I'm really happy about. That was definitely good to see. But guys, tonight is going to be very much a relaxed, laid-back stream. I'm going to take you on a tour of some things. I got some stuff to show you. I'm going to show you how I maintain my retro games. We're actually going to clean some games tonight. We're going to go through every little bit of what's going on the other side of this camera, guys. So I'm going to take you guys on a tour, and while we do, I want to answer your questions. So everybody, get yourself a snack, grab a drink, sit back, relax, and welcome to Way Back Wednesday. Welcome everyone. So good to see you guys here tonight. Listen, I don't have any sponsorships, but that's not going to stop me from promoting the things that I like here at Matcave Gaming. So let's say tonight's stream is brought to us by the merch store from the Star Wars Obsession. Our friend, the Star Wars Obsession, is one of the best channels out there on the platform, and I am currently wearing one of the most comfortable hoodies I have ever worn. Guys, he's got this stuff out there at his merch shop. If you have not checked out the Star Wars Obsession, get over there. What are you waiting for? This hoodie is so comfortable. I have another one in white, but I really like the black because I like black. Guys, tonight we are going to have some fun. I'm going to take you through a few things. We're going to use multiple camera angles. In fact, there's going to be points tonight where I literally pick up the camera and we're going to move around a little bit, guys. We're going to be going around the Matcave studio here tonight. We are going to take a look at a bunch of stuff. Before we dive into our first thing, our first little adventure of the night, let me say hello to the chat. I got to scroll back up and say hello to everybody. Ted's Nerd World is here. Scotty Hawk, good to see you, my friend. Alan Copeland is here. Scrolling down, Black Dragon. I totally accidentally deleted one of his comments. I clicked the wrong button and boom, it was gone. Couldn't even bring it back. My bad, my friend. Brandon Looney Tunes fan is here. Good to see you, my friend. Oh, man, Donna's here. Brooke Chen. Angelina's here. The Stanleys. The Sabersmith. Angry Canadian. Darth Maximus. Guys, welcome. I'm so glad to see you guys. This is awesome. I love it. Great to see all the cave dwellers. Is that our nickname, guys? Is that what the chat is? Is that what... Does everybody need... Like, do we need a name for the Matcave community? What do you guys think? Do you guys want to be the cave dwellers? I don't know. Maybe we'll put a poll up or something like that, and we'll take a vote or something like that, and see what you guys want for the community. So that would be awesome. Padawannabe, what's going on? He says, hello all. I swear I'm getting jealous of everyone's stream rooms. I'm gonna get on it, dude. Yeah. Everybody needs the cave. Everybody needs the cave. All right. Here's the plan for tonight. Alan Copeland calls for cave dwellers for Matcave community. Ted says, I've been worse. Wow. That's awesome. All right, here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is we're going to crack open my beverage of the night, which is Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Because, you know, I'm lame, but I really love Dr. Pepper. Here we go. All right, so here's what we're going to do, guys. One of the most important things when it comes to really any type of gaming, whether you're streaming it or not, is maintaining those games, especially your retro collections. Because let me tell you, this equipment, these electronics, these consoles, and these cartridges all attract dust and grime and dirt. They always will get dirty. When you have discs, they're going to get fingerprints on them. They might get a little bit of grease on them from your skin. All kinds of stuff that you have to keep up with in order to maintain your collection and have it ready at the moment you want to be able to play it. So guys, the first thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to clean some cartridges. And I'm going to show you what I use to do that and how I do it. And then we're actually going to test them out to make sure that they work properly right away. And to help us with that tonight is going to be the Hyperkin Retron 5. Tonight, we are going to clean some NES cartridges, some Super Nintendo cartridges, and some Sega Genesis cartridges. I got a few right here that we're going to work on. Some stuff I haven't cleaned in a while, and some games that I want to play soon. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Now, as we go, guys, if you saw in the title, I did label this as a Q&A. I want to answer your questions that you guys have really about any of this. Retro gaming, gaming in general, how did I get here? Why do I do this? What is the goal with the channel? How can you be a retro gamer as well? What do you need to get started for streaming any game consoles, really? And now, I don't consider myself any type of a professional. I learn new things with this stuff every day. I follow tons of channels that provide advice. I take notes, and I try to incorporate what works, or at least what I feel will work for me at any given time. So I'm always going through changes, always looking to upgrade things and make this the best experience, not just for myself, but for everybody out here in the community. So any questions that you guys have are really the things that I want to answer. Now, I'm thinking one of the ways I think we can go about this, and so that I don't lose track of them, because I'll probably have to scroll back. You know, this chat's always going so fast. It's always a tricky thing keeping up with when you do these live streams. Let's do this. I've seen the guys over at StreamYard do this. If you got a question, throw a capital Q right at the beginning of it. Put a big Q for your question, or just write question and then put whatever you got in there. And I'm going to go through the chat tonight. We're going to bring them up on screen, and I'm going to answer as many questions as I can for you guys tonight. But in order for us to get started with cleaning these cartridges, we got to change views. So that's going to be the first thing that we do here. Well, actually, you know what? Before we switch over, we got a question. What's on the lit shelves behind you? Well, let me answer that question. Actually, let me go back here a little bit. Let me move the mic a little bit here and see if you guys can still hear me back here. Let's test this. Can you guys hear me? I don't know. But back here, we got a lot of things. Actually, let me just move closer. I'll just move closer to you guys. I'll explain it from over here so I don't have to crank up the microphone. Back here is what I call Map Buster. And the way I have this set up back here is my main physical media movie collection. And I have it organized by different genres. So it's in alphabetical order per genre, and it starts its way working through, and then it starts to work its way on this side into some gaming. But then I have other drawers out here and shelving that's containing other games and things like that. So I do have some stuff kind of separated throughout the Matcave, but primarily back here is my physical media movie collection, and I have some other shelves with other movies, big box sets and stuff that don't fit in this shelf. But starting at the top left up there, we begin the collection with TV series, all in alphabetical order. Then it works its way down, and then I get into comedies. Then we work our way through, and then we get into family films and shows. Then I have dramas. Then I have horror. And then on this wall over here begins the action genre, action and sci-fi. So I have everything separated over there where I can find everything easily. You know, whenever I want to watch something, I know which section that I need to go to at any given point just to get to it quickly. I just had to refresh the chat here. I was missing a couple of these, but great question, Alan. I appreciate that. Actually, I love talking about my physical media on that stuff. I've been collecting movies for a really long time, and I've ended up with like duplicates over the years because this is DVDs and Blu-rays back here, but I got VHSs, I got so much stuff. So it's just, it piles up over time. I actually, a while back, I donated a bunch of duplicates that I had to our local public library, which was awesome because it was a great way to, be able to give to the community and also free up some space so I can get some new stuff. So I love doing that. Sabersmith says, where did you get your R2? Let me move again. Okay. Oh, my R2D2. I love this. Okay. R2D2. That cutout came from years ago. One of my friends, we both actually for a while worked there years and years and years ago. I worked with a friend at a Kmart, and then after I left, he was still there for a couple more years. But while he was there, the prequels were coming out. And then what they would do is set up a bunch of displays for the new VHS releases and the DVD releases. And then what he learned was these displays for all kinds of stuff, once it was done for whatever the promotion was, they would throw them away. Well, he figured that out real quick and got dibs on grabbing whichever ones he wanted. And he got me R2D2. I used to have a long time ago. Unfortunately, it ripped and tore. So unfortunate. I'm so upset. A long time ago, my wife, actually, I think she got this while we were dating. This is probably before we got married. Got me one of the life-size cutouts of Princess Leia from Return of the Jedi. And it was awesome. I had that for a long time, but unfortunately it broke. So I have been without that for a long time. Brandon Looney Tunes fan says, what is your favorite Looney Tunes character of all time? My favorite is Wile E. Coyote. Love Wile E. Coyote. He's the best. I always loved the Coyote and Roadrunner cartoons. Those are the best. So much fun. All right, guys. We are going to have some fun here. We're going to switch camera views because I'm going to show you how I go about taking care of maintaining my cartridges, and then we can get into testing some of them because we got to keep them alive. So let's switch views. All right, guys, here we go. Let me slide in here with you guys. Let me slide in with you. All right, we got our first contestant right here that we're gonna work on. The first game that we're gonna take care of is Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. I love this game. This is one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games of all time. And it's funny because a lot of people hate this one. Which is so unfortunate, but what can you do? Brandon's asking, do you do open panels? Not necessarily open panels, but every once in a while I'll have some sort of a themed stream where we will get a panel of people together talking about a certain topic. The most recent one we did a little while back was talking about the Super Mario franchise. I had a lot of fun with that one, guys. The replay's up there. I'm pretty sure I added chapters to that one. I try to add chapters to any of these live streams and break them up into sections for people to find their favorite moments and the topics that they want to hear about. But yeah, not necessarily open panels, but every once in a while we'll do invites and stuff and have people talking about different topics. All right, guys. So what I do to maintain cartridges like this, like an NES cartridge or a Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis, or really any cartridge like this that has this set of pin connectors that you got to keep clean, because believe it or not, inside here, right through here, this will collect dust over time if it's not sitting in a case. And even sometimes I've even noticed when it's in the sleeve, somehow these things get dusty. So there's ways to take care of it, and I found a product that I absolutely love, and it's called 1UP cards. And we're going to open up this package here, and I'll show you why I love these so much. They're really cheap, and I just got a new pack of them because the ones I've been using, actually it's right here, this has been used quite a few times and it's getting really dirty. So I needed replacements. So we're going to take a look at that. Ted's Nerd World. Okay, he asks a very good question. And I don't know if Nick is out there from EBM, but I'm sure he has the same question. Why are you avoiding Final Fantasy? Guys, when it comes to finishing games, it's like, honestly, it's like I gotta be in the mood to play games. Like I don't want to ever force playing a game if I'm not in the mood to play it. Because if I'm not in the mood to play it, that's gonna come through. And if I'm not having a good time, you're not going to have a good time. Now, that said, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I have played more of. I've done it offline and recorded footage of it. So my plan is to try to beat the game and then put together kind of a full video compilation, including moments from our past live streams with it, so I can give you my reaction to the gameplay, because I have me on the screen and everything playing, and I want to get those reactions to you. But don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying that game. It's just a very time-consuming game, and when you get limited time to do some of this stuff, it can be tricky to get back into it. So it can have some issues. Yes, oxidation is definitely an issue when it comes to cartridges. You want to maintain them. You want to make sure that they stay nice, because these things are already old as it is. So depending on how it's handled, it can have some issues with Scotty. Scotty says, I feel attacked. I don't know what happened. The Padawannabe asks, as an adult gamer, do you find that your beard hair gets in your stuff? Yes, all the time. Whether it's food, or my games, or on the controller, or on my clothes. Yeah, you need a well-groomed beard. But let me tell you, sometimes you just got to keep it nearby. Sometimes, if you just keep a beard comb right nearby, pop it open, just, just a quick little grooming, we'll maintain it. Always keep your beards nice and trimmed. Keep them neat. That's one of the things that you definitely want to do. You guys are hilarious tonight. All right, so let's open up this pack right here. It comes with the cleaner and 3 of the cards, and then I have a separate pack of just the cards. So I bought 6 new cards recently. I just got them right off of Amazon, and Amazon has these really cheap. So definitely a product worth picking up. So we've got our cleaner. Let's get rid of the pack right there. So we got the little bit of a cleaning solution here, right? So with this cleaning fluid, why is that not focusing today? What's going on, camera? The one-up card fluid. I believe this is alcohol-free. Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is, I'm thinking of a different thing. This is basically like the rubbing alcohol type stuff that they would recommend for cleaning cartridges to keep it safe. You don't want anything with like ammonia in it or anything like that, or anything that could be corrosive and stuff like that. You want to be very careful with what you use on your electronics. Now, when it comes to things like cleaning maybe a screen, TV screen, monitors, anything like that, then you would use, something more like this, some sort of a screen cleaner, something that's non-abrasive. Use like microfiber cloths and stuff like that. Things that you don't want to use, like paper towel or something like that on your monitors or screens. You can actually scratch them that way. You can leave residue behind, and that can create some issues as well. So we got our pack of our 3 cards. Now, the way this works is that you got the 2 sides to it. One is set for dry, and one is for the fluid. So you're only putting a little bit of fluid on that strip. And then the whole idea is that these strips are designed so that they fit into the cartridge, allowing you to slide it back and forth and clean the connecting pins inside the cartridge. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. We are going to clean up the Adventure of Link here, and then in a little bit, we're going to test it and make sure it plays first time and everything is good with it. So let's pop open our fluid here. And like I said, you only need just a little bit on here, okay? So you just want to go kind of like just a little bit across, just a gentle squeeze. You don't want this pouring out of there. There's no need to to drench the inside of the cartridge, right? You don't need to create too much moisture in there. You want to just use just a little bit, just enough that's going to make contact with this and clean up each part of those connectors. So we're going to pop this in here, into here. We're going to do the one side here. Just a couple of times. You don't even have to put too much pressure. Just a couple of times back and forth here. Flip it. Get the other side of the pin connectors. Just a few times going back and forth just to really get through there. You can even, you can kind of go up and down a little bit, like this. But I generally, because of the width of it, I don't know if you can see that, but it fits perfectly. It's specifically designed to fit perfectly. Now, the NES cartridges tend to be the deeper slot in there, so that's where I think they primarily designed it, but it still fits within the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. So again, just a few times back and forth on each side with the fluid side, then just flip the card to the dry side. And we're going to dry off the connectors. Same idea, back and forth just a few times. And then, being the retro gamer that I am, there's another step. There is another step here, and it's not written. See, there's even instructions right there on the card of what to do. There are instructions, but they're missing a step. There is a fourth step, guys. There's something we need to do. There's one more step, and here's that step. There you go. That's the last step. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you grew up playing these cartridges, you know for a fact they will not work until you blow into it. So there we go. We've got Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link. That should be good to go. So tell you what. Here's what we're going to do, guys. Let's test it right away. Let's do a quick test, and then we'll do a few more cartridges. We'll talk about the games a little bit and see, what's going on. But I want to test out the game. So we're going to switch screens again. We're going to get over to the Retron 5. Okay, so here's our Retron 5 main menu. No cart inserted. The goal is that we are about to take this cartridge, pop it in there, and make sure that it runs the first time. Now, there was one thing I didn't do yet, but we're going to move the camera in just a moment because I'm going to show you some other things. But I like to use, just for quick dusting, just things like almost like Swiffer, these Swiffer little devices that track the dust, right? I'm just going to give this a run right over the top of the Retron 5. There we go. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Retron 5 is just wiped down. I like to get the dust off the top of this thing because it's a top loader, so I don't want any dust to fall into the slots where everything is maintained there. So let's pop in Legend of Zelda and let's see what happens. And boom, one try goes right into the system. It's recognized right away. The same thing should happen if we were to pop it into the actual Nintendo Entertainment System unit, which I do have connected to my Tube TV right next to me. We're going to take a look at that in a little bit. But right there, one try, all the connectors made contact, and the game loads right up. We're just going to fire it up real quick just to make sure it's not glitchy or anything like that. We should be getting game audio here as well. So we should be able to hear this. I'm going to check audio on the stream real quick. We should be able to hear this. Beautiful. Let's just make sure. Hey, I still even have a save file on the cartridge. Let's just pop it on real quick here. Beautiful. They got Link walking around. Let's head out to the map. I don't see any glitches on screen. Glitches you find in Nintendo games generally are because of dust. So everything seems to be alright. Let's trigger a battle. Here we go. Do I have my downward thrust? I do. Ah! Okay. there, everybody. I'd say that is a successful cleaning of Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. Do I have my upward thrust? No, I don't have that yet. What stuff do I have unlocked on the save file? I got my shield, my jump, my life, my parry, my fire. Cool. I went pretty far on this last one. Alright, awesome. So, in the Retron 5, one of the things I like to keep connected is a controller that can basically handle everything. I use a Super Nintendo controller because it's got enough buttons for all the systems that this handles. So let's head back to the main menu because we got more work to do. And then we're back to the main menu. Now I'm just going to pop the cartridge out and you're going to see that it's going to leave the menu. And now we're back to our cartridge. So, Legend of Zelda has been cleaned. Now, I was mentioning just before with the Retron 5, one of the things I like to keep connected is a Super Nintendo controller. This is actually one of the Circa controllers, so it's a remade controller, but everything is laid out the same exact way. The feel is perfect, and... Oh, the music was drowning me out? Okay, no worries. I will make the adjustment actually right here while we're... Sorry, because we're going to pop in some more games, so let me just pull down the volume of the system there. Yeah, we'll do that just in case, just to make sure, because when we pop in the next game, I don't want it to drown out. But thanks for the heads up. I appreciate it. Much appreciated. All right, let's head back over to our other screen. All right. One game down. So I got a handful of games back here that I want to run through, and I want to just kind of test some stuff out and make sure that everything's working well. But this is the thing, like I really love these 1-up cards. I found these a few years back. It was just I found them just randomly scrolling through Amazon, and it just caught my eye, and I was like, oh wait, what is that? Because I remember as a kid having all kinds of different, you know, cleaning devices and accessories that would come with these systems, and they would always go bad after a while, and it just was kind of a mess, especially the ones for cleaning inside the console itself as well, which 1-Up actually does make a console cleaner device as well. I ordered one. It's just back ordered, so I'm waiting for it to come. But once I get that, I'm going to definitely check it out and see how it does with everything, because it's such a cool thing, and I love their product. These pads last a long time, believe it or not. This one here that's like completely beat up and dirty, I was using this one for a long time, and this was the last one out of a pack that I had prior, and it really did last a long time. Tell you what, guys, how about we do... I saw actually Brandon's mentioning, did you play any Looney Tunes games? I have a Looney Tunes game. Hold on a second, everybody. Hold on a second. I'm going to grab that game. Okay. Yeah, I got a Looney Tunes game. Here it is. Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally, a Looney Tunes game on the Super Nintendo. So tell you what, I didn't have it in the pile here, but tell you what, we're going to give this one, take a look inside here. It's got the smaller connectors, but the card will still work here. So tell you what, we're going to clean up this Looney Tunes game and try out a Super Nintendo game real quick and make sure everything works. So first thing I'm going to do, this one is still kind of used up all that fluid. We're going to add a little bit more to the card here. Just a little bit. You don't want to go too crazy with that. And we're going to clean up Roadrunner. Same idea, guys. Same idea. Just a few swipes back and forth on each side to clean up the connectors. Because that's the whole idea. Whenever you play these console games like this, the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, you know, we've all seen it. You pop in a cartridge, and either you get a blank screen, or if the screen does come up, it's breaking up with all kinds of glitches all over it. And basically what you're looking at is a mix between the connectors not making contact because they're being blocked by dust or dirt or whatever got in there that stopped it from functioning. So when you pop this in, the whole idea is for every connector to make contact all at once, all together. And that's why you find sometimes you pop in a cartridge, especially an NES cartridge, and you kind of wiggle it in the system, or maybe reposition it, maybe not press it down, maybe keep it up, just about getting in that perfect position for all the connectors to meet. But if they're clean, you should be all right pretty much almost every time you put the cartridge in there. So we're going to try out Looney Tunes Death Valley Rally here real quick to make sure this game is working, and we're gonna check this out. So let's switch back over to our gaming screen, and I'm gonna pop in Looney Tunes. Let's see what we get first try. Roadrunner's Death Valley first try. Now, obviously, we're not going to play a bunch of the game, but we're going to make sure it's working. Something to know about this game. Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally is no joke. This game is really difficult. Let's pop it in. Vanishing Golem, what's up, man? Good to see you. Sunsoft made this game here, guys. Here we go. How's that sound? Is it better? I'm going to check the volume, too. How's that sound? Is it better? Yeah, it sounds better. All right, awesome. Love that. You get the Looney Tunes theme song. That's great. Let's hit start. No glitching on the screen. I like that. Zippity splat. It gets going right away. Oh, man. I love... See, there was just something about the 16-bit era and Super Nintendo games especially that just... Oh, I love that. Just like the cartoon. It just looks like the cartoon. Like, how did they do that? So many games in the 16-bit era that just look like the cartoons we were watching on Saturday mornings. It was outstanding. So you actually play as the Roadrunner. There's my jump button. And you want to get away from Wile E. Coyote. Now, you can even taunt them at points. But there's like all these obstacles. I forget how to do... There was something... Oh, he just... he fell down the cliff. And now we have a platform. I forgot there was a floating platform. But there's all kinds of obstacles that you have to try to watch out for. And you want to... Oh, no, I just fell down. You want to try to pick up as much speed as you can. But there's so many obstacles that it becomes incredibly tricky. There's a way to taunt. There we go. Meep, meep. I love that. Oh, there's the boost. Let's see if we can get to the end here. Is there another floating platform? Oh, he got me with a steamroller. Wow, I just jumped over like... And we did it. Oh, we gotta make it? Oh, see you, Wiley. Oh, man. Can't believe it. There we go. I'd say that is a successful test. Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally. How cool is that, guys? Love that. Really fun game, too, on the Super Nintendo. All right. Told you guys, this is just gonna be a chill stream tonight. We're gonna be relaxing. We're gonna have a good time testing out some games. I'm gonna go back to the chat here, see if I missed some questions, and go through some of this with you guys here. So I'm gonna scroll back up here to see if I missed anything. Brandon's asking, what if we do a Wile E. Coyote stream? Well, we got a little taste of it right here. But I could definitely feature some Looney Tunes games in some Way Back Wednesdays. I got a couple of them. I got like, Bugs Bunny's Birthday Bash. I remember that game driving me nuts when I was a kid, but I do have that one. I got Tiny Toons. I've got, obviously, Roadrunner. A little bit of that Dr. Pepper right there. That could be fun, doing some Looney Tunes games. My games are all broken. Oh no, Scotty. Scotty's playing lots of like the looter games and stuff like that, and he's playing some GTA and he's doing all kinds of stuff, but a lot of games that that a lot of it is, it's games that aren't really mainstream, and I think that's what I love about it. I never heard of the game Tarkov until I met Scotty, and Tarkov is just awesome. Such a fun game to watch, and Scotty does a great job with it. So if you guys have not checked out Scotty Hawk's channel, please head on over there, click that subscribe button, hit those like buttons, and leave him some comments. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. What do we got? Question. The Padawannabe asking, I have a dusty place and 4 dogs. Is there a kind of anti-static cleaner or wipes I can use for my controllers, consoles? So much dust, I have to wipe the controllers and console every time I use them. Okay. So this one's kind of dirty right now because I've used it a few times already. But the thing I've been really liking are the stuff made by Swiffer. And this is actually one of the little refill pieces that would go on the Swiffer broom or the Swiffer mop, whatever it is. This would, attach to the end of it, and you go. I just grab the refills and I hold this thing, and it attracts the dust and pulls it off. You just gently wipe across, and it doesn't kick up the dust everywhere. It pulls it to it, and it's a quick way to kind of dust these consoles. And what we're gonna do in a little while, because this camera right here that we're using looking down at the desk, I'm gonna move it. We're gonna take a look around tonight, and I'm gonna use the Swiffer, and I got some dust on this stuff, guys. You're gonna be able to see it on the camera, and I'm gonna show you how easily this wipes it down, and it works really, really, really well. I love it. I really, really like that. So yeah, don't worry, there is a way. But those Swiffer refills, I don't know specifically what it's called. I don't have the box down here right now. I forget what it's called, but they're made by Swiffer, and it's this big fluffy thing, and I don't know what it is about it. It just works, and I use it on my electronics, and I have a blast doing that. So definitely a way to do it. All right, the Stanleys ask, do you actually have consoles for these games, or do you have some sort of an adapter? So I have all the consoles here. I got all the consoles, and we're going to take a look at them and everything there. But it's a great question about an adapter. One of the things we're going to look at tonight is going to be how I capture from these. And there are adapters involved because obviously these games go back to all the way to RF connectors, to composite video. Some go up to component video, S video, and we have to find a way to get that to an HDMI output. And I'll show you guys what I use to get there. And that'll be in the next section of the video. We're going to do, tonight we're going to go through a few things. We're going to go through a few more games. We're going to take a look at stuff, test some stuff out, have some fun with that, and then we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes of it. Let's see. Padawannabe says, Matcave showing us the correct way to blow in your cartridges. Yes. Yeah, you don't want to spit in them. Don't spit in them. Just a little bit. Just gentle. Nothing too crazy. It's the famous blow. You guys are nuts tonight. This is an excellent question. Is it you blow left to right or right to left? I mean, you really got to find your comfort level with it. Maybe, I'm left-handed primarily, so maybe I go left to right. Who knows? I never really thought about it though. Next time I do that though, I'll pay attention to what I'm doing. Yeah, we got the chip tunes, man. I love it. The 8-bit music, it's so good. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. Scrolling down. Here's a good question. Angelina asking, did you have a good Halloween? Yes, I had a very good Halloween. It was a very relaxed night. It was funny. It ended up being pretty chilly last night, and it's really cold tonight here. But it was chillier last night than it was last year, and it was actually the kids who were like, hey, can we go back? I think it's time to go back. And us, the adults, we were like, yeah, let's go back. But we had a good time, went to a friend's house and went around their neighborhood, a crazy good neighborhood for trick-or-treating. It was tons of kids everywhere, having a blast, so many cool costumes, and we had a lot of fun. So it was a good time. Alan Copeland saying nostalgic and sad at the same time. Me and my late little brother played Link 2 hundreds of times when we were younger. Oh, dude. Yeah, games like that really create a core memory, right? That it makes a game not just nostalgic, but just it becomes it becomes a part of you, right? There's some games, there's things, whether it's games or movies or a show, things like that just become attached to you, and that's honestly that's a good thing, right? It adds to that level of nostalgia and makes it something even more worth going back to. And Zelda 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I really, really do love that game. All right, scrolling down, catching up on chat. Blizzardhawk Darren is here. What's going on? The Stanley's with the that's all, folks. You guys are great. All right, let's see. Black Dragon says, never thought about the Swiffer products would work on my keyboard also. Yes, I use it on my keyboard, on the mouse. I'll wipe down even just the monitor real quick, just if anything builds up on it. It's non abrasive. I don't know, maybe it's alien technology. I don't know what it is. It just works. And when I find a product that just works and it does what it says it's supposed to do, I'll stick with it and I'm happy with it. Again, I have no sponsors, but I will always happily promote the things that I like and that work well for me. Sabersmith asking, would you be open to playing more Alien Isolation again? You know what, Sabersmith, you're not the only one asking. That seemed to be a popular one that we have done here at Matcave Gaming. I actually wasn't expecting that one to be as popular as it ended up being, but there has been quite a bit of demand for going back into that game. I think we got it. I think we got to go back at some point. We're taking a step back though a little bit for the next couple of streams where we're just pulling away from the horror for a little bit. We had an intense Shocktober that we just got through, and we're just coming out of some of the scares that have gone on for a little while. But yeah, that's one that I think we could get into for a bit. Brandon's asking, do you want to do a Wile E. Coyote stream with me? Potentially, if we could make the time work for it, maybe. I don't know. Brandon, I'll reach out to you on Discord. We'll see what we could potentially figure out there. I like Looney Tunes stuff. Looney Tunes is a lot of fun. That's one of those shows I'll always go back to and watch. All right, let's get another game. Let's do a Genesis game this time. So let's go. Oh, I got one. I know which one. We're going to test. All right, it's time for my really, really, really childish side of me to come out, guys, if you didn't already think I was childish to begin with. But we're going to clean up and we're going to test out MTV's Beavis and Butthead. Say what you will about this game. I know this game's a pain in the butt, but I love it. Because I grew up loving this show, and these characters, in my opinion, are hilarious. The show actually came back, and it's on Paramount. Is it Paramount Plus? I think it was Paramount Plus. Has Beavis and Butthead on it. New episodes. There was a new movie. It's hilarious. And I went back and looked at some of the old stuff, especially to watch the music videos that they watch. I know it's childish. I know it's silly. But I love it. So let's clean up Beavis and Butthead and get this thing working. I'm going to grab the card that I was using here. Let's switch over to the fluid side. I'm going to add a little bit. See, I've waited a little bit. So this dries out quickly, by the way, guys. The fluid that this comes with, because it's like 99%, 99% alcohol. So it dries up very fast. So, when you're just sitting here and you're just cleaning game after game, you could use the same swipe multiple times, but we're talking and stuff like that, so it does run out a little bit. So we're just going to do a little bit on there, and let's clean up the cartridge. Take a look inside. So it's this one's a bit thinner, but the card does fit. So let's pop it on. Fluid side. Just a few swipes here, guys. Let's flip it around. Okay, flip to the dry side. Get this going. Let me move my mic over a little bit. Get that dried out. Oh, there was something I forgot to do with the Super Nintendo game, guys. Something I totally forgot to do. But we're not going to skip it this time. Gotta have that step. Okay. Beavis and Butthead. Let's get over to our testing screen. Let's get back to the Retron. Beavis and Butthead going in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It didn't make contact, guys. Let's try one more time. We're going to pop it out. Give it another blow. Got it. Probably user error at that one. I probably didn't push it in all the way. It does sit, the games in the Retron 5 do sit pretty firmly, so you do got to make sure it makes full contact like that. But we're going to test this out. Who did you see pop in? Steve is here. Hey, yo. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Let's check out Beavis and Butthead on the Sega Genesis and make sure that the cartridge works. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Let's go. Viacom. I think it does. Yeah, here we go.
Pull my finger. No way. Come on, baby. Pull it. Okay. No, cool.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. MTV presents Beavis and Butthead on the Sega Genesis. You had a rendition of the theme song and everything using the Genesis Sound Blaster. That's some good stuff. Yeah, Steve said he just had to blow harder. Let's make sure we get into the game. So this was a 2-player game, by the way. Simultaneous couch co-op. One player could be Beavis, the other player could be Butthead. Each character has their own moves, and then you can collect items as you go. Let's just make sure that we don't get any glitching or anything like that that happens in the game. In the game. He said put it in all the way. Oh, yeah, that's right. Beavis and Butthead love the band Gwar. That's awesome. Yeah, they featured Gwar quite a bit. And then, another fun fact, you get to see the band Gwar in the movie Empire Records. Really fun scene in that movie. I love Empire Records. That's a great movie. All right, so the whole idea of the game is the dog eats their Gwar tickets, and then you have to find the pieces of the tickets throughout their town. But I want to see if we can get... Okay, here we go. So I'm controlling Beavis. Oh, you can run. You can jump. You can burp. So Beavis... Oh, yeah, he's checking the couch. You can find items there. So Beavis has the burp power. How do I switch to Butthead? Let me go over here. Oh, there we go. I switched to him. Now, Butthead, he's got a different ability. If one's burping, the other one's got a fart, right? It's so ridiculous. I know. So you can go around their whole house. You can get items. You go to different areas throughout the game. You go up to the TV set where they would watch music videos and stuff. And that's where you would pick the level that you want to go to. If you just sit there a little bit, they start to rock out. It's freaking hilarious. This game was on the Super Nintendo as well. If I remember correctly, there were quite a few differences between the two versions, which was very common when it came to Genesis versus Super Nintendo when the same game was on there. A perfect example was Aladdin, one of the best games on the Sega Genesis. And me personally, when I finally tried the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin, I really didn't like it. I just always preferred the Genesis version of that game. I think Aladdin on the Sega Genesis is one of the best games in that library. And again, the same goes for Beavis and Butthead. This is a game that just, you can't help but laugh, especially when you're playing with a second player. It's just hilarious. So if I gotta say, if you've never played Beavis and Butthead on the Sega Genesis, I highly recommend it. Let's move on. Oh my goodness. Okay. Moving right along. Let me get Beavis and Butthead out of there. Okay. There we go. We got a few games all taken care of here, all cleaned up. There's plenty more I've got back here that need to be cleaned and everything, and I'll be going through those and stuff, but you know, you guys definitely get the whole gist of it. So the big thing I wanted to show you guys was these 1-up cards, and the fluid that it comes with. You can get these separately. You can get them in a bundle pack. It again, really cheap on Amazon. It's you know, you don't have to go crazy with it. So it's definitely a cool thing to get, especially if you have a bunch of cartridges that you want to maintain and utilize in your systems, whether it's an emulator system like a Retron 5 or if it's the consoles themselves. You want to make sure that these things are functioning when you want to play them, because it gets really frustrating when you decide, hey, I want to play this game, and you go to pop it in, and you spend the next 15 to 20 minutes just trying to get the game working, and sometimes it never works at all depending on the condition of the game. So I always recommend, with cartridge games especially, try to keep them contained in something, some sort of a case, whether it's the sleeve, the hard case itself, or if you have some sort of a container. And actually, speaking of that, I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something that I have right behind me. I'm going to switch cams. I want to show you guys something, because this is something that I'm so happy to have this. I won this at a local retro gaming shop. There was a contest going on, and I won this. Let me take these off of here. We're going to move a couple of these games here. A bunch of my favorites right here, too. What I won... There's so many games. Is this case. This is... Oh, let me raise it up. You can see it right here. This was an official leather-bound carrying case for Nintendo cartridges. Now it's beat up. This thing's old. This is from the 80s. But this was an official carrying case, and I won this in a contest. And inside, you can store a bunch of NES cartridges in here. And this is a great way to keep them protected, keep the dust away from them. And, generally after the game is cleaned, I'll pop them in here. And then I have some of those like plastic cases, and I have the sleeves and stuff that I have other games in. I got a bunch of NES games, but I love putting a handful of games in this case because I love this case. And it's so cool. I was so thrilled when I won this. And I don't know. It's just one of those incredibly nostalgic items that I was just so psyched to be able to add to my collection. I love that. I love that so much. All right, guys. You guys were asking before about things like how we're cleaning consoles and how we maintain those. So let's take a look at that stuff. It's like a tackle box for video games. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Let's do this. Let's move the camera around. We're gonna take a look at some stuff here, guys. We're gonna take a look. Let's switch back over to the other screen. All right. This camera right here, we're gonna move it. We're gonna go for a little walk here. We're gonna get a little Dr. Pepper. Let's see if I can do this without breaking everything. Let me just take the wire out of there. Now, this particular camera that I'm using right here, it's actually my phone. The camera you're looking at me on is my Alluratech webcam, and I'm using my iPhone through a program called CAMO. The link is in the description for CAMO. It's an awesome program. Again, I have no sponsors, but I love to promote the things that I love and the things that work for me, and it lets me use my phone as a camera for streaming, and the quality is awesome. So we're gonna move this along here. Let me pop that down. Oh, hello. Hello. We're gonna take a look around here, guys. All right, let's do this. Let me move the microphone over this way. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit because we're gonna take a look at. It's a little messy. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little messy, guys. I'm gonna move this chair over here so that I can get in here. But we're gonna take a look at this, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about with those Swiffers. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know in chat. Can you still hear me all right while I'm over here? And we're gonna take a look at a little bit of my messy setup that we got going on over here. Let me see if I can stabilize this camera a little bit. I'm gonna turn that. I'm gonna try to do this like one of them real YouTubers. Yep, you got me loud and clear. Awesome. Okay, here we go. I got this thing on a stick right now so that we can look at this stuff. So here's the Swiffer thing, right? And let's do the top of the PlayStation 2. Let's move you gotta have your memory cards, right? Gotta have your memory cards. I'm gonna unplug my controller to move. Ooh, there we go. So we can get through. So let's take a look at this PS2. Yeah, there's some dust on there. It looks like it's coming through on the camera. So we're gonna take our Swiffer and we're just gonna gently right across the top. Nothing too bad. And it just pulls it onto here and pulls the dust off. We could probably do this even like on the glass up here. Let's do that. That'll probably be good. So you guys could probably see the dust on this glass and fingerprints and everything too. Same thing will work on the glass. And you can just, obviously it didn't pull the fingerprints away. I just dropped it on the floor, but it pulls the dust right off of there. And the thing I like about this, about the Swiffer, is that it's soft, it's gentle, it's non-abrasive. So you can use this on all of these electronics. You know, I did this just before to the top of the Retron 5. This is what we were just using to test out those games. But just a quick wipe down, and it just pulls it right off of there, getting you that shine back to everything. Now, obviously, you can use other cleaners and stuff to get things deeper clean in case there's anything on the system that's, you know, really, really dirty or something like that. All right, we're going to come down lower here. We got the N64 down here. Again, just a gentle wipe down. We were playing Knockout Kings the other day. We got the Sega Genesis. Just like that, just a quick swipe and all that dust is gone off the face of that. Got some on the side there. See, the nice thing with this, with the Swiffer thing, is that it's flexible. So that you could just like squish it into the little corners and stuff. I got my PS1 down here. Might as well just give it a little bit of a wipe. Again, nothing too crazy. And then over here, I got the Tube TV. I got the Tube TV set up over here, guys, where I have, I've got my NES, I've got my Super Nintendo, I've got a switching, a composite switcher over here, I got my VCR down there, and then I got a handful of controllers, and then there's, look at that big rat's nest of cables. I gotta take care of those and make sure everything's all up. But the same idea, especially like Tube TVs. Tube TVs attract dust like crazy. And I'm going to take this stuff off the top here so that I can show you. You can, oh man, it just left a spot where that remote was. But we've all seen how much dust a tube television can attract. You just take one of these and just a quick quick wipe, goes right away. You can see the line of difference right there where the Swiffer stopped. And then this can also be used on the screen to get rid of any of the dust on there. So I love these things. And you can see it, it's collecting on there, right? You see it get dirtier as you go. So there's only, there's only so many times you can keep using this thing. Eventually it'll get too dirty, and then it's, you want to get rid of it. But an easy replacement. So that right there, guys, is how I take care of my retro systems. That's something that you got to maintain these things. You really do. You really got to maintain them. This is kind of funny using two cameras here. Definitely weird. All right, I'm going to spin this around, guys. Don't get dizzy. Don't get dizzy on me. Okay. Here we go. We're like, I don't know where to look. You still have the old tube for Duck Hunt. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love playing Duck Hunt over here. That's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah? It's awesome. I wonder if are these in sync? They look like they are. The cool thing is that the phone camera is connecting on the network. So it looks for the same network the computer's set to. So I set the phone to the same Wi-Fi network, and that's how it's talking to each other. Oh, excuse me. As I start hacking up a lung. All right. Let's switch screens. All right, guys. There's some stuff I want to show you guys. As far as the things I use to make this system work. Every gamer on YouTube or Twitch or Rumble or whatever platform that you choose to stream your games on, or even just capture the games to bring up the video, you need a way to get that game onto the stream. You need a way to get it out there for people to see it. And when it comes to the world of retro gaming, that can get a little tricky sometimes. It took me a while to really figure out everything I needed to make this work. And I want to show you guys what I currently use. And this has taken some time to get there with it, but I've learned a lot from a lot of people, friends. I've learned from other YouTubers, other content creators that have brought suggestions. I love to watch channels like StreamYard and vidIQ to get ideas. Places like TubeBuddy, all these places that give all this wonderful information, and I kind of bring it all together and try to use what I can. Stanley's, thank you so much for coming by. I appreciate it. Yes, the replay will be up right away, and I'll be adding chapters to this as soon as possible. So for this section of the video, we're going to talk about how I get these retro games to you guys. So I want to show you guys some stuff. I'm going to move the camera around again in a moment so I can show you the actual physical setup, but I got a little bit of stuff here that I want to show you so that we get a sense of what we're actually going to be working with. Hey, I know that guy. All right, we're going to bring up a screen here. All right, guys. What we're looking at here is a capture card. Now, this is when it comes to capturing from console games, from external games that are not on your PC. Your capture card is really the key element right there. Is the most important piece that you're going to need in order to make this work. The one I use is the Elgato HD60S Plus. That's something that I had a prior Elgato. I had the HD60. HD60, yeah, I had the HD60 prior. I upgraded to the S Plus for a couple of reasons. And now, as of today, this particular model is now, I don't think it's fully discontinued, but there are newer models that are out there, but I'm not planning on changing it anytime soon because this device works perfectly for me and it does everything that I need it to do. Now, I want to show you guys some specifications of this device to get a sense of what this is all about. So I'm bringing up the site here. I'm not looking at the chat right now, so I'm going to catch up with you guys in just a minute. Actually, let me make sure I still got the chat with you guys here. Okay, there we go. Yeah. There's the chat. You guys are still there. All right, I'll be right back with you guys. But I want to tell you about the Elgato capture card because there's a whole bunch of them that you can get directly through Elgato, or they're sold on places like Best Buy's website or Amazon, stuff like that. Bunch of different places that you can get this. I've really liked using the Elgato product. It's something I definitely recommend if you're looking to get into streaming, really of any type. If you're going to be capturing from something, the Elgato device makes it really easy. And the HD60 Plus has some features that I was specifically looking for. One, that it could support modern consoles like the PS5 and the current Xbox. The older one I had certainly did as well, but there were some limitations to it where it came into there was delays and I had to make filters to adjust for the delay, and it took a while to get that timing just right. The reason I upgraded to this one though was because an up in resolution and also its increased capability when it comes to removing the delay. There is practically zero delay on this one, but I love that I can get up to 4K, up to 2160. This says 30 frames right here, but I get it going at 60 frames, so I'm not sure why it says 30 here, but I do stream. It's capable of 4K at 60 frames, and utilizing it through Streamlabs, which I'll show you some of that in a little bit as well. I currently stream at 1440p at 60 frames per second. That's how I bring the streams to you guys. So a little bit above 1080. It's not quite 4K that I'm streaming in, but it's more like 2K. You know, it's just I try to bring as much quality as I can to you and keep it the whole thing smooth. So the encoding that's built into this device will do up to 60 megabits per second when streaming at 1080p 60 FPS, which is awesome. And then for the recording with HDR features, where you get the bolder color and deeper black levels, reduces it a little bit, but it still works fantastic. This thing is also compatible with Macs. I'm using a PC, but you can use this on a Mac. And the device is really, really simple as far as what it is. You know, we were looking at this picture of it here just a moment ago. It's just this small little device where it has an input to bring the HDMI, and then it has an output. Now, obviously, these old consoles that I have, they're not HDMI ready, right? These things are not going to be outputting HDMI on their own, which is where adapters come into play. And somebody was asking about that just before, what kind of adapters are needed for stuff like this, right? To be able to play, you know, Sega Genesis games and Super Nintendo and NES, you know, what do we need to be able to play these games on a stream and in HD? And, you know, how do we get this stuff out to everybody that's watching? Spidey Librarian, what's going on, dude? We were just cleaning up some cartridges, and now we're talking about how I put my system together and what I use to capture these games. We're talking about the Elgato capture card. I use the HD60S Plus, and that's a device that I really love this because it's very simple, right? So you basically have an input through HDMI and an output through HDMI. And then you can use a program like Streamlabs, for example, which is what I use to capture the games and stream to you guys. But I need a way to get these consoles converted to HDMI. And there's a few ways you can go about that. There's some really expensive ways, and then there's fairly cheap ways that really won't break the bank and will get you what you need it to do. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things here. Now, when it comes to these systems, let's say all you care about is, you know, you don't want to spend much. You just want pretty much the cheapest, most cost-effective way to get your original Nintendo or your original Super Nintendo onto the stream. You just want to capture from it, but you got to get it to HDMI. Well, Amazon has all kinds of adapters on there. And then here's an example of one that it outputs to HDMI. Its input is the composite video, S video, and analog audio. That's the input. So you can plug your old console, whether it's a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, a Sega Genesis, an N64, a PlayStation 1, even a GameCube or a Wii, anything that has that composite video, and plug it into here. Now, there are other devices like this. I have another one. It's currently hooked up to the system that instead of composite video, it has the component video, which gave you progressive scan capabilities on some of these consoles. Like the GameCube, for example, had that capability. So you get a little bit better resolution, a better quality, basically. Instead of 480 interlaced, you get 480 progressive. So it looks a little better, a bit more colorful. Black levels are better, brightness is better, everything like that. But these devices are very cheap on places like Amazon. And then it takes the signal and outputs it to HDMI. Now, this particular device gives you a couple of options where you can upscale it to either 720p or 1080p. When I use this device, I use 1080p. I don't see any reason not to. I haven't had any conflicts with using that resolution on the things that I've converted through here. And then this device is powered with just a 5-volt adapter. And that's pretty much it. It doesn't really get much simpler than this. These are very basic, like no-name brand devices that you can pick up on Amazon for very cheap. Like I'm talking like you can pick up converters like this for like $20, $30. Some are even cheaper, to be all honest. There's smaller ones. These I've seen them on a bunch of things where it's like a very small little like white box that has the same type of connectors on it, but it's just a much smaller piece. That thing's like $5. Like these things get really, really cheap, but it will accomplish getting the source to HDMI so that you can then put that through your capture card, whether it's an external one like I'm using or an internal capture card in your computer. So there's definitely plenty of options out there at different price levels. Now, as you go up in price and up in quality, you start to get different types of adapters that are going to be doing more than just getting it from point A to point B. When it comes to capturing these devices, I want to be able to bring as much quality as possible, not just for the sake of streaming it, but for the sake of my own enjoyment of replaying these consoles on a modern screen, on a modern monitor or a television, or if I'm hooking it up to my projector. You're going on to an HD screen. You want to be able to see this as clearly as possible. So there are adapters out there that do more than just converting the signal from composite to HDMI. There are devices that will upscale and add HDR effects or add anti-aliasing to it and sharpening the image, smooth out edges, all kinds of stuff that these adapters are doing. Now, it's right behind me here. I'm going to show you guys something that is also from the company Hyperkin, because they make more than just console units. They make cables, and I'm going to show you an example of one. So what I have here is a Hyperkin converter cable. This particular one is designed to work with the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 because those two consoles use the same proprietary end. So this wire is a 2-in-1. And the cool thing with this is that when you take a look at the brick, and bring this up here. Yeah, that's not focusing in. Maybe I'll switch to the camera in a second. Anyways, on this brick, there's a little switch where you can force the signal to stay in 4:3, like those original consoles were, or you can stretch it to 16:9. Now, this device obviously will output to HDMI, That's where you're going into your capture card. And the other end connects directly to the PS1, PS2, or whatever console you got the cable for, because they make these for multiple consoles. And it's the proprietary end that fits that console. I have cables like this for my two PlayStations, my PS1 and my PS2. I have a cable like this for my original Xbox. For my Dreamcast, I have another adapter like this that works on the GameCube and the Nintendo Wii. And it is a fairly cost-effective cable. It's not all that expensive. I could pull it up real quick if we need to. You know, I found this on Amazon, and then through the link for getting this one, I found the links to the other ones. You can also buy these directly through Hyperkin's website, and they make these for almost every console you can think of. I even have one. Actually, the most recent one I got was for my Nintendo 64. Man, did that make a difference when it came to capturing from that console. But these cables, these adapter cables, are fantastic. I have used so many of them at this point, and I've been thrilled with the results. So again, it's another cost-effective way, not breaking the bank, to get your original consoles onto your streams. I just want to catch up here on chat real quick and answer your guys' questions. I saw something pop in here real quick. Spidey the Librarian saying, random question, are you using StreamYard for this stream at the moment? Actually, right now I'm using Streamlabs. And that's something I'm actually going to show you guys a little bit more of, because like I said earlier, we're pulling the curtain back tonight, guys. We're going behind the scenes of how this all comes together and how this all works and how I try to bring this content to you guys. Again, like I said earlier in the stream, I am certainly no professional at this. I'm just sharing the knowledge that I have gained over all this time of doing this. And there have been plenty of streams that have been a mess. You guys have seen technical difficulties that I've had over the years. Some of these things, it never goes perfectly. There's always something. But I want to be able to share with you guys what I've learned over the years doing this. Because there's been a lot of people that have expressed interest in trying to get into stuff like this. And some people that are currently doing this that are looking for maybe an alternate way to what they're doing at the moment. So what I have found are these ways I have been able to accomplish this comfortably and doing it in a way that is cost effective and not breaking the bank. And I want to be able to, utilize my systems that I grew up with and be able to play them whenever I want on really whatever system I want. It really there's so many different ways you could do this. Steve's asking, so CAMO is different from Streamlabs and StreamYard. Is that just for your phone cam? So CAMO is a really cool program I found a little while back, and I fell in love with it. I did a video, I posted, it's still posted on the channel, where it's called just a quick camera test. And I literally took what I was using for just my original camera and then switched right to CAMO, and the quality difference was insane. But CAMO's big thing is being able to, you can use any webcam, by the way, with it, and there's tons of features in it to adjust coloring and brightness and filters and all kinds of stuff with you. I'll show you guys that as well tonight. I think I should be able to share that screen and show you what that is as well. It does so much for the quality of it. But the other thing I really loved about it was that it wasn't just for webcams. I could turn my phone, I'm using an iPhone, and I could utilize that incredibly powerful camera that's in that phone and use it as my webcam. And that was the camera I was using before on the other screen. I'll switch back to it. That's the camera I have using right now, where we're looking at everything. You can see the quick focus that the camera on the phone does. But you can see the difference between the camera that's looking at me and the clarity that's on the phone itself. I mean, I'll tilt this up. Oh, come on. There we go. I mean, there's a pretty big difference between the two. And I love the quality that comes from the camera built into the phone. So depending on what I'm doing, depending on the type of stream I'm doing, I will utilize the camera in my phone, or I'll use my Alluratech camera depending on what I'm doing. And this Alluratech camera, which is a 4K camera, I can put through the CAMO program as well. Right now I'm using it directly through Streamlabs and letting CAMO do the work through my phone. But it also gives me the ability to have multiple camera views, which is a lot of fun. And depending on what we're doing, like we've done, these views like this before in the past, where we're looking down at my desk here, when we do the unboxings. And it's just a really fun way of using it. Now, there is a free version of CAMO, which does plenty of stuff. I loved it so much that I did purchase the license for it. It really wasn't expensive. And it gives me the higher resolutions and a bunch of additional filters. My favorite filter that's on CAMO is called a green screen booster. That was a game changer for me. That was a huge game changer for me because I was struggling with lighting. And I have some additional lights here and stuff. I got the ring lights and the stuff over here and everything, and it has helped a lot. What the green screen booster effect does is it enhances the low light so that everything blends with your green screen better. And it ended up making my green screen effect look freaking awesome, in my opinion. I mean, I fell in love with what that program can do. I actually reached out. I've been talking to some people from CAMO via email. I'm in their Discord now. They do occasional streams on their YouTube channel showing off new updates and everything for their products. So I keep the link in the default description of the videos. It's also in my about section of the channel. If anyone's interested in checking out, the link is right there. It's a really cool program. I definitely recommend it. It's very, very, very cool. And the people over there at the company, at Reincubate, who makes CAMO, they've been awesome. I gotta say, they've been great. They've been really, really cool. So I've appreciated everything they've done for me, and they communicate so quickly with you. It was great. I had some questions. There was actually a bit of a glitch that happened with one of the software updates, and it was impacting me, and I reached out about it, and I sent them examples and showed them the stuff and sent them, what they asked for about it, and then they did an update, and it fixed it, and it was fantastic. So awesome company. Really appreciate it. So they did a great job with that. All right, so let me show you guys another thing that I wanted to tell you about here. And where did I put it? If I could keep track of the stuff that I took out. Oh, here it is. I got it. I found it. I got it. All right. So we talked about how to capture from these consoles, right? We need a way to get the game into the stream. We have a capture card. We got the Elgato to handle that, but we need to convert our old systems. We have converters to convert the old retro systems to HDMI so we can get it to the capture card. And depending on the converter that you're using, depends on the quality that you're able to capture that system with. There's more you can do. There is a device called the mClassic. Now, let me bring this up here a little bit here. Move this camera. I moved it out of position, but here we go. The mClassic is basically an external graphics processor. And this little device, this one's still in the box right here. I have a second one that's already hooked up to my Elgato. This goes at the endpoint. So the mClassic has an input and the output. What you do is you connect this to the output of the Elgato before you send out to the computer to where it's going to capture. And what the mClassic does is it's a small graphics processor to add more quality to your capture. And I actually brought up their site to show you guys what their stats, what this device is all about. So I'm going to bring this up here for you guys so we could take a look at this together. So I'm on the mClassic's website talking about the mClassic device itself. This device, if I remember correctly, retails at about $100. It's like $99.99 for this device, and I bought 2 of them because I have 2 separate setups, and I was so happy with the first one that I was convinced, and I got the second one. But what this does is, one of the features is that it adds anti-aliasing. So you can actually, and they got a picture here showing the, oh, there it is showing my mouse, showing the difference in quality, where when you add this anti-aliasing, you can smooth out the edges of images that are coming up in the game. So that was a really cool feature that was in there to take, especially if you're sending like an old NES game or a Sega Genesis game, and you get those jagged edges on the character sprites or in the environments. It smooths it out. You can even do this, whatever source is coming through, it will add this effect to it when you turn on the device. It also does the upscaling. So you could take from all the way from like a 480 resolution and upscale it all the way to 2160 and get this thing to 4K. Now, is it going to be true 4K? No, but you are upscaling it and basically giving your resolution breathing room. So you are going to see some added clarity whenever you upscale a smaller resolution to a larger resolution. The device also creates a depth of field effect. The reason this is so cool, especially with more modern games like the PS2 or the PS3 or Xbox 360, is that a lot of those games didn't have a depth of field effect, but this thing has the ability to generate it in a way that it has, well, it explains it here, right? So our depth of field algorithm takes on the challenge of identifying both foreground and background aspects of the image and determines the relevant zone of interest to create the best possible picture in real time. That's the key right there as well. Real time. There's no lag in this thing. I think they even talk about it later in this article. It's less than a millisecond that's impacted when you have this device running. So everything is in real time as you add these effects. And you can see in the comparison video, they're actually using Uncharted right here. That's Drake. How it finds a way to create the depth of field imagery on there, which is pretty cool. The game didn't have that. But when you pop your PS3 through this, it's going to add all of these effects. And then the image sharpening. We were talking about that before. It sharpens the image. So between sharpening the image and then also smoothing edges, you end up with another level of clarity. So you get these really nice, crisp images coming from games that otherwise would not look that way. A game that really benefits from this was Metal Gear Solid 1. And that game was just recently re-released in a Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1 that just came out on all modern consoles. I picked it up on the PS5. I may actually get it on the Switch as well, just for the sake of playing handheld. But I recently replayed Metal Gear Solid 1. And in the collection itself, they didn't do anything with it. It's the straight port of the PS1 game, and it looks just like it did on the PlayStation 1. And if you guys are familiar with Metal Gear Solid, you know how blocky that game looks. Well, run that through the mClassic, and hot damn, what a difference. So it's really cool. So you can even use modern systems and run it through here to get that effect, especially if you're playing an older game on a modern system. And here's what I was talking about before. There is no latency. Lag time less than 1 millisecond with all the processing above. mClassic's graphics post-processor analyzes and improves every single pixel for the most beautiful image with no lag. When I first started looking into this thing, um, I almost didn't believe it. But then I watched a bunch of comparison videos and people that were using it and the way they were talking about it, showing before and after and side by side comparisons. And after watching so many videos like that, I was finally convinced. And I pulled the trigger and I got it. And I have been thrilled with this device ever since. I have been really, really happy with this mClassic. I really love it. And it's connected to my system as we speak. And there's a switch on it that you could, right now I have it set to pass through, but if you turn this on, you can force things into widescreen, or you can force it to stay in 4:3 and keep original aspect ratios from the older stuff. So depending on how you prefer to play the game, it gives you those options to work with there, which is great. I absolutely love having the ability to kind of have that freedom, right? The freedom to play how you want to play. And that's key, especially when it comes to retro gaming, because there's a certain way we remember these games. And sometimes we don't want the enhancements. Maybe we want that nostalgic feeling of playing it as close to exactly how we played it in the past. Or sometimes you're in the mood to, hey, you know what? I want to smooth this out. I want to see what I could do with it. You know, almost giving it a feel of like, oh, what would a remaster look like of this game? So I really love having the freedom to do things like that. Now, another device I'll mention real quick while I have it here is, depending on your preference of how you have things set up with, depending on how many monitors you're using or how many systems you have in the room, there are HDMI splitters that are out there where you can split a single source to multiple monitors. Literally, it's the same source onto multiple monitors. This particular splitter will output to 4 outputs. So I could have potentially 4 different monitors playing the same source. The reason I picked up this one in particular was this one, for some reason, bypasses the DMCA feature in consoles like the PS3 and up. The PlayStation 3, I was having so much trouble capturing from it because the DMCA was activated and would not turn off, even with just playing a game. The whole idea is to protect it from outputting like a movie or a streaming service, or, you know, popping a Blu-ray or DVD in there and then sending it out to, you know, broadcast. You can't do that. That's illegal. So I get it. That feature is there for a reason. But for some reason on the PlayStation 3, it also blocked the games. And I couldn't capture from my PS3 for the longest time, until I found out that some HDMI splitters bypass that. I have no idea how or why that's capable of doing that, but I figured I'd mention it while we were talking about devices that I have within my system, and that was something that actually came in real handy for me because I love my PlayStation 3 and I wanted to be able to capture from it. So if you're ever running into that problem where you have a console that is blocking you from getting the console into your streaming program, potentially a cheap HDMI splitter might be your solution. So do your research, keep stuff like that in mind, and sometimes just a quick little cheap small device can answer all your questions with that. Black Dragon says, you actually do research to know what you're talking about. That's heresy in today's society. I don't, you know, it's, I don't know, the generation now, it just, I don't know. I feel like the world has reached, and I don't want to offend anybody, but in all honesty, if we look at the world realistically, human beings have become lazier. Everyone has become just wildly lazy, and current generations are the most lazy because there's so much that's just easily accessed for them. Like, it's not like it was when I grew up and when people older than me especially grew up. you know, it's less work to accomplish everything. And it's unfortunate because it's also kind of hard to kind of teach some of this stuff to younger generations as well because they don't want to learn it. They don't care, which kind of sucks because this stuff is fun. I mean, it's I loved learning all this stuff over the years. I mean, it's all this stuff I learned by doing because I'm very interested in it. I love watching things like documentaries and how-to videos and stuff like that. I love it. I love learning about how the world works. And that's how I learned to do so much of this stuff is just experiment with it and get my hands on it, watch a video about it, figure out what somebody else did and does that work for me and maybe I can try it. And then really figuring out if it's going to make the most sense. So I've tried things before that really have just failed and didn't work. And it just have gotten pieces and that were put into the system and I was like, "Oh, that didn't work at all the way I thought it would." And then ended up taking it out. But it's trial and error with a lot of this stuff. And that's why I wanted to do a stream like this was to kind of just share what I've learned over the years with things like this because I will always be a retro gamer. I love the games that I grew up with. And that's one of my favorite things to play on these streams. So I wanted to show you, like I said earlier, how I get this stuff to you guys. And I just enjoy it so much. Let me jump back into chat here. Clifton says, I am so confused. Won't show on my laptop says the stream is finished. On my phone, it says 5 hours ago, but it's live. Hey, what's going on, Clifton? Yeah, the stream's still going, right, guys? I have it off to the side on YouTube. I see us going. I'm not sure what's going on your side. You know what? The other day, and maybe it's still happening right now, YouTube was having a lot of trouble a couple days ago with all kinds of lag and everything on their own service, on their servers, I guess. It wasn't the users, it was something on YouTube, and maybe that's still happening right now. It hit me hard the other day with my last live stream, but the replay didn't miss a beat. I checked the replay. It's perfect. There's not a missed frame anywhere in it. So I don't know. They might be having some back-end issues going on still with that. Real Wade Nation Gaming, what's going on? So I just play retro on my Switch. It's so funny that you say that because I actually have a short on my channel where I'm holding a Switch and I ask everybody, do you use your Switch more for modern gaming or for retro gaming? I use my Switch for retro gaming primarily. It's just a great system for it, and I love that system. So I'm hearing a lot of rumors about the Switch 2 happening. A lot of false rumors, but some stuff leaking that I think we're getting something pretty cool coming down the pipeline. Black Dragon says, I know the struggle when we hire someone under 30, they quit soon because they can't believe that they have to work for their paycheck and can't just spend the whole time on their phone. It's a different mindset. It really is. And it does apply to the world of gaming. When you think about the games we played in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, those games took work. Most of the games, you had no idea what you even had to do. You had to just figure it out. Even reading the instruction manual, sometimes you still walked away like, I don't know what's going on. Let me just play it and see what I can figure out. Atari games especially. Plenty of hard NES games. Even all the way into the 16-bit era. There was stuff that just blew our minds, but we had to put the work in. We had to put the effort in to get good at it. Now, so many modern games are they're almost too cinematic, right? You're basically playing a movie in a lot of games, which is fun. Don't get me wrong. I've played plenty of games that are like that, and I love it. I love the cinematic feel to these. It's a lot of fun. But I will always prefer a side-scrolling platformer, something, a beat 'em up, Something like that. Something, you know, I just a puzzle game, stuff like that. Legend of Zelda adventures, things like that. I want to solve things. I want to figure out what's going on. That's just the way I grew up on gaming, and it's just something that stuck with me and something I try to pass on to my kids and something I like to share with all of you guys on these streams as well. Yes, I do play Fortnite. You know, I don't play it as much as I used to, but it's one of those games that I always love jumping into. I actually just got they released Jack Skellington from A Nightmare Before Christmas on that game, and I got him on there. Really cool character. There's actually, speaking of Fortnite, it's funny you mentioned that. One of the upcoming streams I want to do with everybody is I wanted to talk about how Fortnite does retro. And I want to take you guys through so many characters that are in that game, which is what lured me to the game to begin with. So I think that's going to be a fun stream coming up. But one of the things I want to do real quick before we move on, I'm going to move the camera again because I want to show you guys what's going on behind the camera here. I'm going to show you guys what's going on here. So let me move this. We're going to get a little shaky for a second. All right, let me turn that. I gotta turn this. Come on, be a YouTuber. Oh, there's our screen. There's the stuff going on right over here. Here's my monitors and everything of what's going on. But down here, don't mind the mess. There's my little Lego R2 that my son built for me. That's awesome. Here's my Elgato. So this is what I was talking about before of how this works. I've got my sources and everything are all like down here, right? We got all these systems and everything, right? We got the Retron up there and all this stuff that comes down and comes connected. We even got the switch right here as well. Everything comes down to, I have a splitter here. I have a switcher. So this is a Rocketfish HDMI switcher. Funny enough, I thought it was a 4-port. It technically is, but the 4th port is a USB-C port, which I wasn't expecting. So this is really a 3-port HDMI switcher that at any given time I have 3 sources connected to it. And then the output of that goes directly into my Elgato HDS 60S Plus. And that's my capture card. That's where we're bringing these games to the system. And then from there, before it goes out to the computer, to my monitors, I have the mClassic connected to it to add additional features when I'm playing retro games. That device is just powered over a USB, so it's connected to a USB port on my computer to power it. Right now it's off on pass-through, but there is a switch on here that when you flip the switch, it activates it and then puts it into whatever mode that you're going to add to capturing the games that you put through there. So, but depending on what I'm doing, I'll keep it off. If I don't need it powered on, I'll leave it off at that point. But that's how, and then it wires back and then heads into the system. So that was something I wanted to show you guys that as well. But the last thing I wanted to go through as far as the technical stuff goes, let me just put this back over here. Guess we don't really need that much anymore. I got some artwork back there and some posters. Well, let's move this over. Up. Yeah, we can have 2 cameras going, right? Let's just leave 2 cameras going. Why not? We'll have some fun with that. Oh no, he uses Edge, people. Yeah, I mean, it just comes with the system. I primarily use Google Chrome because I like having the extensions, which is how I'm doing the pop-up chat. So I have the Chrome extension that lets me do the pop-up chat just like StreamYard does, but I could do this now in Streamlabs. So it's a cool feature that's in there. I haven't tried it yet, but I recently heard about another browser called Opera something. Opera something, whatever it was. I got to find the site again about it. But I'm going to try that out because I heard that it doesn't take up so much CPU and doesn't eat up the computer processing as much as these other browsers do. And apparently the Google Chrome extensions work in it. So I was researching that a little bit, and I want to try that out. It was Opera something. Oh, Spidey Librarian's talking about it. Yeah, respect to try Opera GX. That's what it was. I think you'll like the options the browser gives you. That's the one I heard about. Was that? You know what? It might have actually been you, Spidey, that told me about that one. I might have heard about that from you. But I definitely want to check that out because I think there's going to be some benefits to it when it comes to, all the things that we're going to be doing on here. Yeah, I just clip games and upload them, or I stream on Twitch, and then my buddy, that's my editor, brings them over. Nice. Yeah, I've seen a lot of streamers do that. They do the live streams on Twitch and then bring like the clip montage from it onto YouTube. I've seen a lot of people doing that. It seems like a cool way of doing that. But it's a lot of fun. So something else I wanted to show you guys here is, speaking of programs we're using and how we capture this stuff, I use Streamlabs as my primary streaming program. It's very similar to OBS. They work very, very similar. In fact, there's many features that are practically identical between the two. I've gotten comfortable with Streamlabs, and that's the one that I have stuck with and used. And then I also use StreamYard, which is a lot of fun for having panels, having guests on with you to have discussions. And I've had all kinds of panels in the past where we do like our Talking Retro episodes, and I'll have guests on and we talk about all kinds of stuff, which is a blast. And even though you could bring guests on in a way in Streamlabs, it's really not quite perfected, and it's just so user friendly on StreamYard. So I'll go back and forth between the two depending on what kind of a video or a stream that I'm doing. But I wanted to share with you guys what Streamlabs is, because you may not be familiar with it. And maybe you yourself, who's watching this video either live or on the replay, you might be looking for a program that is going to work best for you on how to use it. So I'm just going to bring up a quick screenshot here, guys, to show you something, because if I share the screen where this is, it becomes that infinite tunnel and it's hard to look at. So I took a screenshot, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys here, and I'll show you what this is. So here's a screenshot of Streamlabs, and I want to point out a few things here with you guys. So actually, what I'll do is let me actually, I can zoom in right from the thing here because I don't want to lose you guys in chat here. So this was a screenshot from the window we were using to look at the Retron 5 before. There's my camera screenshot right there. But the main thing I want to show you is down here at the bottom. So we're gonna zoom in. There's three main sections to Streamlabs, and on the surface it might look complicated, but once you realize what this is doing, it's actually really user-friendly and very simple to use. So we're going to go down to the bottom corner here. The first main section that you get are your scenes. This particular one is called Retro Sunset that I use, where we have this imagery around us. I really like it. I think it's a cool effect. We like the pink and the purple and everything. It's a lot of fun. But you can have multiple scenes. So I'll have like my starting scene, or I have my full cam image. You can name these whatever you want. I have the gaming live scene, which is what we were on before, looking at all this equipment and everything together. I have my ending scene, my Way Back Wednesday intro, and these are all set to do something at one click, and it switches the scene. The next thing is, once you're in the scene that you want to use, the next section are your sources. What do you want to be built into that scene? And you can stack this up with all kinds of stuff. So I can have my pop-up chat like we're using, my thank you videos, the live chat, the heart rate monitor, which I got to get that going again for the scary games, the alert box where you see if there's a new subscriber or a new member or a super chat that will pop up on there. You can have background images or your camera itself. You want to make sure you have everything that you want to be utilizing at that point. So your camera, your capture device, like if I was to scroll down, and this is just a screenshot we're looking at right now, but I scroll down further and there will be my Elgato capture. The key with these sources and how you list them is the higher up the item is on the list, the more upfront that element is on the screen. So let's say you have what you want to be a background image. You want that low on the list so that anything you put higher goes on top of that background. And then you want maybe the pop-up chat. So you want that higher than the game you're capturing and everything else. You want things, the higher up on the list it is, the more upfront on the screen it's going to be. So you're basically just stacking these elements that you want to appear on your screen. And once you realize what order you want things in, and you could drag and drop them and move them to wherever you want them to be to reorganize it, it works out really well. And then on the screen itself, I'm going to zoom back out. Every element, there's not much going on in the screenshot that I took, but every element is selectable and you can resize it. You can drag it and move it to wherever you want it on screen. So let's say like, oh, I don't want my camera to be down here in the bottom right anymore. I want to drag it up and put it in the top left. You could do that. And it will sit there until you move it the next time. It'll even save it that way. So when after you close out of Streamlabs, it's still in the same layout that you left it. So a lot of people will make scenes that they don't change ever. And I recommend doing that. Once you find a stream for certain things that you do, a setup, leave it that way and then make a new scene if you want to do something alternate with it. There are some scenes that I have set up where I'm constantly moving stuff depending on what I want to do, but lots of freedom. And I've made tons of scenes and I haven't run out of space. So I don't know if there's a limit to how many you can do, but it makes it very simple. The last thing that you want to pay attention to on this is the bottom right side, which is your mixer. This is for all your volume levels, for everything from your microphone to the capture source to whether you want your desktop audio on there. Everything gets its individual volume control, and you can control this mixer by adjusting it to tell it, if you go into like the gear that's up here, you could tell an item to be muted, or you can monitor it through your headphones or through your desktop speakers to hear what's going on the stream. So this is something that becomes your best friend, and you can adjust on the fly the volume levels. Like when I talk to you guys during the gaming streams, I always tell you, you guys are my eyes and ears. Let me know if there's any issues and we can make some adjustments on the fly. That's where I'm making the adjustment. Right there. When you guys are like, hey, the game's a little too loud, it's drowning you out. I'm down there in the mixer and adjusting it right there in real time, and it happens right then and there. So it's definitely a good thing to keep in mind when you're using a program like Streamlabs or OBS. OBS does the same thing. It's the same idea. I'm going to take a drink because I've been talking a lot. But I've had a few people reach out to me on Discord and Twitter and ask what I use for streaming. And this is the primary one that I use. I use Streamlabs. I've just become very comfortable with it, and I enjoy how it functions and all of the features that come with it. There's all kinds of themes that you can get and different things that you can play around with. So I highly recommend checking it out. It's a free program to get. And then there are things you can purchase in it to get, different elements to it, but you can always use it for free. Same thing with OBS. Same thing with StreamYard. StreamYard is free, and it has a whole bunch of regular features that are in there. You can stream up to 720p, but you can also purchase a monthly subscription with StreamYard and the resolution to 1080 and add some additional features to it as well. So with anything like this, any programs or anything like that that you're going to be incorporating into your system, I always recommend do your research. Make sure you do your homework. Figure out if it's going to work well for you before you spend the money on it. If it's free or there's free trials, by all means, try it out. See if it makes sense for you. That's exactly what I did with all of this. If there was a free version, I tried it out and I wanted to see if that was going to be the right solution for what I was looking to do. And I'll tell you, I had so many recommendations from so many people because everybody does different things with this stuff, right? There's a lot of similar things that we all do as content creators, but at the same time, everyone has their preferences, and there's always an alternate option to all of this. And I'm sure there are plenty of other services and programs like Streamlabs, OBS, and all that stuff that I haven't even heard of. And it probably does a great job, and whoever uses it probably loves it, and they've become very comfortable with it. So the best thing I can recommend is try it out. See if it works for you and see if it's going to be comfortable with you and your system and how you like to play your games or whatever type of live streams you like to do. Try it out. Don't be afraid to do it. It's fun doing that stuff. It's a lot of fun. Spidey Librarian says, I'm seriously considering StreamYard for my podcast. It may solve several tech issues I've had over the months. Yeah, for podcast styles, I definitely recommend StreamYard. It's, in my opinion, the easiest solution for having a panel with guests. It's incredibly user-friendly, and it makes everything nice and easy for the guests as well. And StreamYard, has had quite a few updates over the last year or so. So they're adding more and more features to it. So it's really like a great time to try out StreamYard. It's a really cool program. I like it a lot. Yeah, Brandon saying he does his live streams in StreamYard as well. It's a really popular service. It works really well. And StreamYard themselves has a YouTube channel, and they do streams and videos very frequently. They do multiple shows as well featuring other content creators who I have learned so much from. They'll do shows. They'll have streams with Nick Neiman, if you guys have heard of him. And then his brother, D, does a show with another content creator named Daniel Patel. And these two do a show. It's the second Saturday of every month. And I look forward to it every month. It's just so much fun. They created a game show that StreamYard lets them broadcast. And they created a game show where you have an opportunity to win a chance to have your channel featured and reviewed live during that show. It actually happened to me once. It was amazing. I got ripped apart, by the way, in the best way. These guys are incredible. But the feedback I got was priceless. It helped me so much. I mean, after that stream where my channel got picked, I immediately started making changes to my channel and updating things, and it has served me so well. And I got to tell you guys, I look forward to that show so much. And then there's a bunch of other content creators that also have featured shows on StreamYard's channel. It's a ton of fun. If you're looking to learn information about how to do all this stuff, check out the StreamYard channel on YouTube. Also check out vidIQ. vidIQ is an amazing channel and a service and a program that has helped me along the way as well. I watch them all the time. They do channel reviews as well in a different style, but I mostly watch them for their information and the stuff they share about the analytics and how to really work within the world of YouTube. Very smart guys, very hugely educational programming that's on that site. And then they have extensions and a service that they offer that helps you work with YouTube Studio and learn the analytics. They also have coaching programs as well. So another thing to check out as well is vidIQ. I have learned a ton from them, and it's just so great. The other thing where you can find some of this information as well is actually at the Matcave Gaming Discord. If you head over to our Discord, where we do have the link in the description and on the about section of the channel, join the Matcave Discord. I have a content creator corner section where I share all kinds of stuff like this on how to do these things. I share streams from vidIQ and StreamYard and other places like that. They're sharing what I find to be valuable information that I think could benefit any content creator out there. So definitely check it out. If you're not in our Discord yet and you've subscribed to the Matcave, join us on Discord. Have some fun with the whole community out there. I appreciate it. And never, obviously, if you haven't yet, remember to smash that like button on this video, comment in the comment section, join the live chat, and be sure to click that subscribe button, because I don't want you guys to miss the upcoming content. Check out all the older videos on the channel as well. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Give me your honest feedback. In all honesty, if you guys watch a video of mine and you're like, man, that sucked, dude, let me know. Tell me in the comments what sucked, and I can work on getting better in the future. But I appreciate everything you guys do for this community. Let me jump back into the chat here, and I just want to catch up with you guys as well. Clifton3D says, kind of sad that Yards can't handle games if you don't have a monster of a PC on steroids. Well, here's the thing. It doesn't matter what your PC is or how powerful your PC is when it comes to StreamYard. StreamYard is web-based. It's all through their website. It's not a program that you install. It's through their website. So if you decide to use StreamYard, you just need a browser and a webcam and a microphone. That's it. That's all you need. A web browser, a webcam, and a microphone. And then you're good to go. StreamYard is web-based, so it is limited. So that's why I don't use StreamYard for gaming, because I can't get quality gameplay capture through StreamYard. But that said, it is perfectly suited for things like podcasts and doing panels and having guests and just doing things like that. So I highly recommend StreamYard for that. When it comes to gaming, you definitely want a program that is locally installed, like OBS or Streamlabs, like we were looking at here today. This way you have ways to work with it and adjust settings to work with the type of quality that you want to have and capture in the game at whatever resolution that you choose. Black Dragon is asking, do you use an Elgato Stream Deck to switch the different functions? I don't have the Stream Deck. I would love to get one. I didn't have the money to really spend on that as of yet. And I didn't find it necessary because I can do it all through the controls within Streamlabs itself. There's also a mobile app version of it that you can download. And I tried it a few times. I haven't really stuck with it, but I saw what it was capable of, and I only scratched the surface with it. But as an option, if you can't afford getting a Stream Deck currently, there is a mobile app that does it. And then you could technically just have your phone or iPad or tablet or whatever just at your side like you would a Stream Deck. And there's the functionality. And you program it and tell it what you want it to do. And it works, with the system. And it's good to go. So it definitely works. The mobile app does work. I've tried it myself. And it's really something I probably should start using more often, in all honesty. But no, I don't have a Stream Deck yet. But eventually, that will be one of the devices that I will be sure to add to the system here, because it's definitely a cool thing, and there's plenty of people that use it, so it's awesome. Clifton3D says, I am checking out Evmux. I don't know what that is. It might be a little better than Yards. Oh, so I'm assuming it's the same idea as StreamYard, but maybe from another company. So yeah, like I was saying before, there's tons of services and programs out there that I've never heard of and have never tried, but I'm sure does the same idea of what I do here. It may do it better, it may do it worse. I don't know. But there's plenty of options out there for everybody. So whatever you want to use to get into it. You get 1080p already with the $25 version. Yeah. For which one? For the one you just mentioned or for StreamYard? I forget the costs on StreamYard, but I definitely upgraded my StreamYard to get the 1080p. For at the time, it was worth it to me. But it's one of those things too that you can cancel at any time. So, it's something worth trying. If you get the chance. Low spec Linux laptop. Good to see you, my friend. He says, I use OBS with 720p output with just CPU graphics laptop. Yeah, and that's the great thing too with things like OBS and Streamlabs. There's so much capability in it that it really can be used like any way you want. And guys, go check out Low Spec Linux Laptop. The games especially that he's streaming and talking about and teaching you about are awesome because he's going through some great, iconic retro PC games. He's playing this stuff on Linux systems. He's showing you how to convert them if needed. He's showing you different emulations and stuff like that. It's really awesome, the stuff that he gets to stream on there and show you how it works. But the most impressive part of it to me is that to run certain games where you would think you need to reach a certain point of hardware, he has shocked me so many times where he's like, look what I'm playing and I'm only using this. Just blows my mind whenever he does that. It's so awesome. That's another channel I highly recommend, guys. If you haven't checked out Low Spec Linux Laptop, hop over there, click that subscribe button, check out the streams, check out the videos. You're gonna have fun, I promise. Yeah, it's good stuff, man. So many different ways to do this stuff. Black Dragon says, I've got the Stream Deck XL, works great. Oh, I'm sure it does. Those things are amazing. It's incredible what you could do with this stuff. For the one I'm checking out, yards is 50 for the 1080p. Okay, so that's the difference. Yeah, so the one you're checking out, half the price and should be able to get that resolution that you're looking for. So actually, keep me posted, man. Clifton, let me know how that works and let me know how it goes. I'm really curious because I haven't found anything, an alternative to StreamYard, but that said, I do really enjoy StreamYard. So, but you know what? I'm always open to trying different things and seeing how it works. I'm noticing my one cam is starting to freak out a little bit. I think I was getting a little jitter on the connection from it. Again, I have my phone working this one wirelessly. So, whenever you're working with a Wi-Fi network of any sort, there can be some issues in there, a little bit of lag sometimes. But, that could happen. Oh, my goodness, everybody. We went through a lot tonight. We went through a lot of stuff tonight, guys. Let's pull it back. Let's pull it back, everybody. Everybody, let's pull it back here. Man, that was a lot to go through. I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to get a little sleepy. I'm so glad all you guys were able to join tonight. I know this was definitely a different type of a stream than we normally do for our Wednesday night streams. I said it before, I wanted to kind of bring things down a little bit, a little relaxed from Shocktober. We did a lot of scares and jump scares and stuff. Just wanted to kind of hang out, chill with you guys for a little while, have some fun. And I've just had a lot, especially lately, I've had a lot of people asking me about stuff like this and, the things I use or the games I prefer and how to stream them. And it's just, it was about time. Honestly, this was a long time coming. I feel like I owed this to you guys, right? I wanted to be able to share this stuff, and I've talked about it in the past, but we never really kind of got into it like this before. So I hope you enjoyed this style of a stream. If it's something you would like to see again, please let me know in the comments. Let me know some feedback about stuff like this. We can always try different setups. I want to try to get multiple simultaneous cameras in like fixed positions for certain stuff like this and really go like deep into things like this. But it's I have a lot of fun with this stuff. I geek out about it. This is the stuff I nerd out about is the electronics. It's the setup. It's how things work. How do you get from point A to point B and function with all these different things and have it all connected at the same time? It's like solving a puzzle, and I love it. So that's what I truly geek out about, and I'm so happy that I could share this with you guys. It's a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you guys took this journey with me tonight. Again, I know it's a very different stream. I'm gonna break this up into some clips and make some smaller, you know, videos about specific topics. I'll put chapters in this for the replay. But and if you guys have any, always if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments, hit me up in the community tab, reach out on Discord. I'm on Twitter as well, and I post on there pretty frequently as well. So I hear back from you guys on there all the time. So I definitely love it. This community is amazing. The Matcave gaming community continues to grow. I'm having so much fun with this, guys. But I am really happy that I could share this setup with you guys and how I do this. I have so much fun with it. I hope that if you were interested in trying to do stuff like this, I hope this was informative. I hope that this information helps you in your journey and being a content creator. And if you're not going that route, I hope you enjoyed this anyway, just getting a glimpse behind the curtain of what's going on here at Matcave Gaming and how I bring the content to you guys. I'm going to wrap things up here tonight, but thank you again, everybody, for joining our Wednesday night live stream. As always, remember, keep retro gaming alive, because one day your games will be retro too. Guys, I will see you next week.